Hi, K-pop lovers. Welcome back to our channel. Hey everyone, before we dive into this incredible story, please hit that like button, share this video with fellow armies, comment your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe because you won't want to miss what happens next in this journey. Imagine this. You're 17 years old, studying contemporary dance at one of the most prestigious art schools in South Korea, the Busan High School of Arts, where you're literally the top student in your department. You've dedicated your entire life to perfecting every movement, every gesture, every breath of dance. Then one day, your teacher pulls you aside and says something that will change your life forever. She tells you that you should audition for an entertainment company. That moment, that single conversation, would set in motion a journey that nobody, not even Jimin himself, could have predicted. But here's what they don't tell you about that story. What happened next almost destroyed him before he even began. In 2012, a young Park Jimin from Busan walked into Big Hit Entertainment's audition room. He passed. He was in. But there was a problem, a massive problem. He was the last member to be added to what would become BTS, and debut was approaching fast. While other members had trained for years, some for 3, 4, even 5 years, learning vocals, rap, choreography, and performance, Jimin had exactly 6 months. 6 months to catch up to members who had been perfecting their craft for years. 6 months to prove he deserved to stand on that stage. And those 6 months? They nearly broke him. Jimin later revealed that during his trainee days, he slept only around 2 hours a day, practicing until about 4 a.m. and waking up around 6:30 to go to school. Korea Boo. Think about that for a second. 2 hours of sleep. Every single night. For 6 months. But it gets worse. Jimin admitted that not knowing what he should do was the hardest thing for him, and whenever V or Jungkook had vocal lessons, he would ask if he could watch, tuning into the lesson and later practicing what he learned late at night. Korea Boo. He wasn't even officially in the vocal lessons. He was sneaking into other people's training sessions just to learn, just to survive, just to prove he belonged there. And through all of this, through the exhaustion, through the self-doubt, through the fear that he wasn't good enough, there were moments when he wanted to give up. Jimin himself admitted in an interview, when reflecting on having the shortest training period of all BTS members, that he cried a lot, was exhausted, and thought of giving up frequently. Cheat sheet. But something inside him refused to quit. Maybe it was stubbornness. Maybe it was passion. Maybe it was the dream that burned so bright that not even exhaustion could extinguish it. Whatever it was, it kept him going through those impossible 6 months. And then came June 13, 2013. Jimin debuted as a vocalist and dancer in BTS with the song, No More Dream, from their first single album, Too Cool for School, Wikipedia. But even as he stood on that stage for the first time, even as the lights hit him and the music started, Jimin carried a secret burden. He later confessed that when he debuted, he wasn't fully ready and confident, and he still felt he had his shortcomings. Cheat sheet. Now, most people would think that's where the struggle ends, right? You debut, you made it, the hard part is over. But for Jimin, it was just beginning. Because here's what nobody tells you about the K-pop industry. Debuting is just the start. The real battle is staying relevant, growing, and proving that you're not just lucky but talented. And Jimin? He didn't just prove it. He rewrote the entire playbook. Fast forward to 2016, and BTS released their album, Wings. Jimin's solo track, Lie, was described as stunning and dramatic, conveying dark undertones and emotions in line with the overall concept of the album. Wikipedia. This wasn't just another song. This was Jimin showing the world that the boy who almost quit, who trained for only 6 months, who cried himself to sleep from exhaustion, had transformed into one of the most compelling performers of his generation. But wait, because the story gets even more incredible. In 2017, BTS released Love Yourself, Her, and Jimin's solo track was Serendipity. The song was soft and sensual, expressing the joy, conviction, and curiosity of love. Wikipedia. In May 2019, Jimin became the first BTS member to have a solo music video achieve 100 million views on YouTube when Serendipity surpassed the milestone fandom. 100 million people watched Jimin's artistry. The boy who wasn't sure he belonged had captured the hearts of 100 million viewers worldwide. And then came December 30, 2018. Jimin released his first credited solo song, Promise, which he co-wrote, on BTS's SoundCloud page for free. Wikipedia. Free. He gave it to the fans for free because for Jimin, it was never about the money or the charts. It was about connection, about art, about that dream he held onto when he wanted to give up. And the fans? They showed up in a way nobody expected. Promise earned the biggest 24-hour debut in SoundCloud history with 8.5 million streams, surpassing previous record holder Drake's Duppy Freestyle, which received 4.9 million streams. Wikipedia. He didn't just beat Drake's record. He absolutely shattered it. But that was just the warm-up for what was coming next. March 24, 2023. Remember this date, because this is when history was made. Jimin released his debut solo album, Face, and its title track, Like Crazy. And what happened next sent shockwaves through the entire music industry. Like Crazy blasted in at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 Songs chart, marking Jimin's first leader and the first for a member of BTS solo Billboard. But here's the part that makes this truly historic. Jimin became the first South Korean solo artist in history to achieve a #1 debut on the Billboard Hot 100, and the fourth Asian artist after Q Sakamoto, Far East Movement, and BTS to top the chart. Wikipedia. Read that again. The first South Korean solo artist in the 65-year history of the Billboard Hot 100 to debut at #1. The boy who almost quit, who had the shortest training period, who wasn't sure he was ready, had just made history on a scale that transcends K-pop, that transcends Asia, that puts him in the conversation with the greatest artists in the world. Like Crazy sold 254,000 downloads and CD singles combined in its opening week, becoming Jimin's third #1 on the digital song sales chart, and accrued 10 million streams Billboard. But what makes Jimin's achievement even more remarkable is understanding what he overcame to get there. This wasn't just about talent. This was about a young man who refused to let his circumstances define his destiny. Now here's where the story takes another incredible turn. In December 2023, Jimin enlisted in South Korea's mandatory military service alongside fellow BTS member Jungkook. Billboard. For 18 months, he would be away from music, away from the stage, away from everything he'd worked so hard to build. Most artists would worry that their momentum would die, that fans would move on, that their time in the spotlight would end. But Jimin? Even from military service, his impact only grew stronger. In July 2024, while serving in the military, Jimin released his second solo album, Muse, and its title track, Who. The song became an absolute phenomenon. Jimin reached the 2 billion mark on Spotify with Who as of September 2025, making it the first time he hit the milestone with a solo effort. The Korea Herald. 2 billion streams. While he was literally in military service, unable to promote the song, unable to perform it, unable to do anything that artists typically do to support their music, Who became a global sensation purely on the strength of his artistry. The track entered Billboard's Hot 100 at #14 and totaled 33 weeks on the main singles chart, and it was the most streamed K-pop song in 2024 on Spotify. The Korea Herald. Think about what that means. While Jimin was fulfilling his duty to his country, his music was dominating global charts, breaking streaming records, and proving that true artistry transcends physical presence. The impact he'd built, the connection he'd forged with millions of fans worldwide, was so powerful that not even 18 months of absence could diminish it. On June 11, 2025, something magical happened. Jimin and Jungkook were officially discharged from South Korea's mandatory military service in Yongkyon, South Korea, and they appeared before fans and media with bright smiles, offering brief greetings and expressing sincere gratitude to supporters who had waited for their return billboard. Jimin said, "From COVID-19 to the military, it has been quite a long journey. Thank you so much for waiting. Now that I have been discharged, we will get back to painting the picture we have been envisioning. We will prepare well and show you kpop." And now, in 2026, we're witnessing the next chapter of this incredible story. According to Big Hit Music, BTS will return on March 20, 2026, after a nearly 4-year hiatus, as all 7 members completed their military service. ABC News. During a November 2025 Weverse live stream, Jimin confirmed that the group finished recording their upcoming full-length album, saying, "Everyone, we finished recording, it can now come next spring. I really want to promote our songs soon." Inquirer.net. This marks BTS's first full album in 6 years, and with a massive world tour planned, Jimin and his brothers are about to show the world what happens when 7 artists, each transformed by their individual journeys, come back together. So let's talk about what this story really means. When Jimin walked into that audition room in Busan back in 2012, he was just a talented dance student with a dream. He didn't have years of training like the others. He didn't have the confidence that comes from experience. What he had was something more powerful, an unbreakable will to succeed and a refusal to give up even when every logical reason told him he should. From sleeping 2 hours a night to making history as the first Korean soloist to debut at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, from nearly quitting to achieving 2 billion streams on a single song, from being the last member added to BTS to becoming one of the most influential solo artists in K-pop history, Jimin's journey isn't just about music or success or breaking records. It's about what's possible when you refuse to let doubt, exhaustion, or fear write your story. It's about understanding that the shortest training period doesn't determine your ceiling, that 6 months of impossible work ethic can compete with years of preparation, and that the person who almost quit can become the person who makes history. Today, Jimin stands as living proof that your starting point doesn't determine your destination. That being the last one chosen doesn't mean you can't be the first to achieve something extraordinary. That nearly breaking doesn't mean you're broken. It might just mean you're being forged into something stronger than anyone, including yourself, ever imagined possible. So if you're watching this and you're facing your own impossible moment, if you're the last one chosen, if you feel like you don't have enough time or enough training or enough of whatever it is you think you need, remember Jimin's story. Remember that somewhere in Busan, a 17-year-old kid with 2 hours of sleep and a dream that refused to die became the first Korean solo artist to debut at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Remember that the person who almost quit became the person who changed history. And before you go, make sure you've hit that like button, shared this video with everyone who needs to hear this story, dropped a comment telling me which part of Jimin's journey inspired you the most, and subscribed because we're just getting started with these incredible stories. Jimin's journey reminds us that sometimes the most powerful stories come from the people who almost gave up but chose to keep going anyway. And I don't know about you, but that's a message worth sharing with the world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Annyeong.